Now.
Now?
Yep.
Wait, am I upside down?
Nope, you are right side up.
Okay.
You're, what is right side up or downside down?
Downside down, right side up. I was about to make an inappropriate joke. I'm glad I did not.
This thing falls, I'm gonna laugh so hard.
So are you using your phone? You propping your phone up against something?
Yeah, I have like a thing that it's made for, and it works sideways, but it doesn't want to work. Wait, I have an idea.
Oh, there it is.
That's why.
Yeah, that's the one.
Why.
Perfect. Yep.
We're figuring stuff out. This is great.
Perfect.
I can't imagine the view you guys are getting of me just like trying to put this up.
Just turning the camera over and over. I'm about to get dizzy.
There we
go. Turn my volume off.
Oh yeah.
There it
Man,
goes.
I had it like perfect, and all I had to do was press a freaking button.
Blow them up.
I put that in the notes.
Yeah.
That'll be funny.
Maybe that'll work.
Awesome. Yeah, that's perfect, and it looks like, let me make sure, yep, it's showing up perfectly well framed and all that stuff. Sorry, folks, that we're getting a late start here, but
mostly my fault.
Well,
hand raised.
We'll blame Mother Nature this time at least.
Oh, I just covered the camera with my hand.
You can do that. Whoa.
Oh no, that was Khloe. I was looking at the.
No, that was me.
Yeah. I was like, I thought it was like over here, but.
I am having technical difficulties all on my own.
That'll happen. All right. Well, let's see. Folks are joining in. Hey, Ben Brown, Earnhardt, woo, Beast, good to see you. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Brandon Carl, hello, good to see you. We'll get this thing started here very shortly. We've got Khloe on the phone, on the line, on the video, as you can see, and we'll get her going here in a second. Let's see. I've got show notes. I've got recording equipment. Streaming is already happening. So, you know what I don't have is sound effects. I'm missing something.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, heck yeah.
We're gonna need those.
Or the, when I say sound effects, I mean like our intro song and stuff like that.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I was hoping for some buzzers, maybe.
We threw some in there. We have one for tearing it down. We have one for gassing it up, and we have one if either one of us calls the race winner. I blow this stupid foghorn because I think it's funny. I don't know if anybody else thinks it's funny, but just, hey, I won.
I think it's hilarious. So as long as the two of us think it's funny,
right.
It's happening.
Hey, I won.
Yeah. That's going to keep
It's like a crappy siren, really. Baritone siren. All right. Matt DiBenedetto fan. Yeah, hope so.
Love the name.
We'll see. Yeah, right. All right. Sherwin, you ready to roll?
Yeah, let's rock.
Khloe, you ready?
I am ready to go.
Here goes. We are recording now. Welcome, y'all! That's right. This is the Pregame Engineer Tailgate Mayor Racing Podcast, episode number 140. Today is Thursday, March 29th, 2018. I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace, joining the PTM Podcast studio with Pregame Engineer Andrew Sherwin. What's up, dude?
Opening day for baseball.
It is.
And we're doing a podcast that we're super excited about.
Might as well. Well, y'all, as you know, this podcast is sponsored by you. That's right. You go to patreon.com/PTM, join the What You Drinking Club for as little as $1 a month and get that free koozie. The best part is every cent in 2018, we're donating to sponsoring drivers once again. So join the PTM posse today. Be a part of the sport you love. This week's show, as always, brought to you by our official sponsors at the $5 and up per month level. That is Catherine Kingston, Ashley Stang, Laura Henshaw, Harry Balzania, Mick Rose, Aaron Bearden, Robert Keplinger, Tony Saul, Colby McClam, Eric Kepner, Ryan Kiefer, Marion Levesque, Patrick Cleary, Jeff Brown, Brandon Crowd, Kathleen McDonald, Stacey Wright, Brandon Carl, Billy Workman, really good, Rika Porter, Jumpy Bob and Les Miller, Jason Rudd, Tommy Witt. Want to welcome some new folks. Sherwin Premium sponsor, David Patterson from the MOATF podcast. An official sponsor. Welcome back, Mark Wiley. Good to have you. And welcome to the PTM Posse, Mr. Nate Dunham. So, holy mackerel.
We're going to get together, and you're going to tell me all these new folks that have joined into that deal so that I make sure they get their stuff. Because I'm not sure who all I need to be sending stuff to.
Right. Well,
but I know I owe a bunch of y'all stuff, and thank you so much for doing that too. And we're super excited. You'll see next week how excited we are about that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So, without further ado, Sherwin, I think we should bring on our guest. We want to welcome to the show this week, driver of the number 17 Yunker Motorsports on-point machining car in the Kart Series. Also, alleged cheater in the Lap Traffic NASCAR Fantasy League.
Wow, okay.
Out of Swanton, Ohio, it's Khloe Yunker.
I knew that was coming. I knew it.
We had to give you some ish on that one, just because of our especially our friends over the pond at MOATF who David and Andy who I guess coined that term for you. So
I know I heard it on the Lap Traffic podcast, and I was like, "Wow, okay, guys, love the support."
Excellent. Yeah. So all in good fun. I imagine it's not cheating at all, and it's rather just.
How can you
really
cheat in that?
I don't know. I mean, you're a driver. You've got inside knowledge, right?
You're supposed to know
sure.
stuff.
Right. Yeah, show us what's going on.
I mean, like, your profession is listed as driver and pit crew member for your dad's team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So you like
ever since I was like 5.
Oh, so what did you do when you were 5?
I don't know. I probably just followed my dad around and made up something.
Picked up lug nuts and threw them at people.
Here you go.
I love it. So. We start the show the same way with every guest. So tell us, I see you're guzzling something there. What you drinking on today, Khloe?
I'm drinking lovely flavored water.
Flavored
Exciting.
water. What's the flavor of the day?
It's grape. I'm not a big fan of grape, but it's what we had.
Gotcha, Sherwin.
Grape drink.
What is our flavor of the day, Sherwin?
Well, we've got some whiskey here.
Yep.
Bird Dog.
Yep.
Left over from last week. I've got a Stone IPA. Also left over from last week.
Sweet.
You
I went down and got a pack of pups. I think they said Golden Road Wolf Pup Session IPA. I was playing some poker this last Saturday evening, and I was like, well, we're going to be playing for a while, so I need something that I can session on. I didn't want to just jump in with
you want, like,
turbo
dry
IPAs.
Miller Lite.
Yeah, exactly. So picked up that. It's damn good. Help
Never
yourself.
heard of it. I'm excited to try it.
Yeah, go for it. With that, let's kick off the car number 40, Sherwin. It's episode 140. It's kind of a milestone episode.
This
Every time
is
we have
our
like
second to last opportunity to do this segment, right?
True.
We got
good point.
one more, so make it good.
Yeah, here we go. The Silver Bullet. It's a number 40 car, Sherwin. You got to be talking about the Silver Bullet. Sterling Marlin, 274 races, 4 wins, 27 top 5s in that car number 40. Pete Hamilton has the second most laps led in the 40 car with 338 laps led over 15 races. How nuts is that?
That's not bad.
Yeah, 3 wins in 15 races in the 40 car. Some other folks, Tommy Thompson, 11 races and 1 win. Jamie Mack, if you remember, 6 races and 1 win in his second race ever in the Cup Series at Charlotte in 2002 after that Sterling Marlin incident. He took over. He raced in Talladega. And then very next one, Charlotte, I'm going to just go ahead and take the trophy.
Yeah, so that's a very unique situation. And that's probably why Jamie Mack still has a job today racing cars, is he stepped in for Sterling Marlin after he bumped his head at the end of the, leading into the end of the season, and goes off and wins the race.
Right.
Like, that's basically unheard of. Alex Bowman almost did it in Junior's car 3 years ago at Phoenix.
Yeah. So, our spotlight driver today, though, DK Ulrich, 178 races, no wins in that car, but he's got an interesting background, sure. When he was born in 1944, Woodbury, New Jersey, raced 273 Cup races overall from 1971 till he stopped in 92, so a 21-year career racing. He went on to be a renowned owner, and he had this great, crazy idea of renting cars out to out of his shop that was across the street from Lowe's Motor Speedway. I don't know what you're saying there, but what I was going to say, though, is that he was renting out to two people who are very famous for that. Tim Richmond and Ernie Irvin's first rides were in those rentals from DK Ulrich. How cool is that?
Yeah. So I got to use my sign language a little better or whatever, but
Sherwin's giving me like that.
It's DK Ulrich. And
Ulrich, sorry.
He's related to Skeet Ulrich.
He is.
Who was one of the actors in the Scream series.
Yeah, Skeet is
and
his
they are all related
son,
to Ricky Rudd.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that was Jeff Brown provided me that information after
awesome.
he obviously saw you post
Oh, yeah,
on
yeah.
Patreon the notes for today's show. So that's pretty cool.
So he's got another business venture. He's providing flights for various crewmen to go to different tracks through another business that he started. So, I mean, he's just the NASCAR entrepreneur, if you will. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's got like the tuning fork for
yeah,
business
divining
success.
rod and whatnot. Yep. So, Chloe, I saw that you just put on, or were handed a hat. We saw some arms come in off screen. Is that the, I can't see it from here, is that the number 17 hat?
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it.
Sponsor hat. Love it.
I love it. Awesome.
My dad had to, he came in, he was like, "You're not wearing your shirt." And I was like, "There's a hat in the back."
There's a hat in the back. I'm not changing shirts right here, Dad. What are you talking about?
We'll make sure we give On Point Machining a couple of different mentions on the night.
Oh, yeah.
So they get their money's worth.
Well, let's start there. Tell us about On Point Machining, how you got involved with them.
Well, we have a awesome PR guy, Rich. He got them in contact with us, but they're a machining company out of North Carolina, and if you need their direct information, I will have it all listed on my Twitter, but you should definitely check them out.
Very cool.
What kind of, so what would a public person need their services for? Is it so can you tell us that?
Well, every time I try to figure it out, they're just like anything machining. I see a lot of metals being formed into things. I find it very intriguing because it's all like this big. It's pretty cool.
So, like, obviously racing needs a ton of metal parts.
Oh, yeah.
But there are also many other industries, like the trailer industry, for instance, like the pull-behind. They obviously need machining at times. Their parts break a little bit. Maybe an axle mount breaks. So they do that kind of stuff, too?
I cannot be positive. I know it's all on their website, and you can get, like, their quotes and all that. They're very detailed in what they'll tell you.
Okay.
10-4.
Cool.
10-4. So, well, let's take a step back then. Tell us about you and how you got into racing. I mean, your last name's kind of a giveaway on, how you got into racing, but, how you got started and everything.
Well, my dad's been racing since he was a young, early preteen. He actually started in karts, and then he went on to sprint cars, and he was huge in sprint cars and ran those, and then he kept going on, and I was like, you know what? That's really cool. I think I want to do that, Dad.
Excellent.
Obviously, being around it helped.
Now, what was your first car that you drove?
It was a kart.
It was a kart, yeah. Cool.
I really like the karts a lot, and I'm actually really into Indy cars, so now I'm hopping more on the road course side, so
very cool.
I'm really excited about that.
Well, then you probably enjoyed our episode with Leilani Munter.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was really cool.
Excellent. Well, how about tell us more about the cars or the karts and what some of the specs are and what it feels like to drive those.
Well, you're like 2 centimeters off the ground, and you're going either, depending on the kart, you can go from 80 to 120 miles an hour.
Holy
so,
crap.
Quite the adrenaline rush.
I can't imagine. Sherwin, we've had a T-bone incident in a 40-mile-an-hour kart.
Yeah, it was,
I mean,
it was not
the Play-Go karts at the Andretti's or whatever it was.
We can go up to the one that's up and coming. That's
is it for real?
An 80-mile-an-hour cart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So a lot more damage in a T-bone incident.
We could kill each other, probably.
Yeah. Is that
I feel like those are so easy to spin out, though. I honestly am so bad at the little play ones. I'm so bad at them.
That's funny because I feel like I'm really bad at them by the 12-year-olds that pass me on track all the time.
Well, I think about our weight distribution. not great. And sitting on that tiny wheelbase.
Yeah.
And then, like, you make a little bit of a correction mistake when you're turning away from the turn.
Well,
like, you could make it gets compounded if you overcorrect.
I should have more downforce, though, right?
I don't think that's how it works, but I'm not positive.
I need to build me one of them, attach on right before I start, maybe a 6-foot wing on the back of it.
Just wear a hat that's got a wing.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Be the one guy flapping out there with that stupid thing. Khloe, what's going on? Khloe, I'm losing my voice already. What's going on in 2018 for you? What are you looking forward to?
Well, obviously, we just got the new sponsor.
Who's that sponsor again? I forgot their name.
Complete Machining.
There it is.
Yeah. Check them out, guys. Don't forget. But I'm really excited to do more road course this year. We have a great track called Thompson Speedway that is helping me out, so I'm just super excited for that. Really excited. And we got some, not sure if it'll be this year or the next coming years, but we got some more bigger cars coming up hopefully too.
Cool. Tell me about bigger cars. What does that mean? I mean, if you can't spill the beans yet, you can't, but...
Can't yet. We got to figure out more details, but then I'll definitely get back at you.
That sounds good. That sounds like a plan for another podcast, Sherwin.
That sure does.
That's
how we roll.
Lining up guests for the 2018 season. So you mentioned one track there. What's kind of your favorite tracks and stuff? Where do you like going to?
Well, when it comes to oval, a lot of them are quite the same. I don't think I have a favorite, to be honest.
So you, I think later on in the show, I think we have some questions about small ovals and road courses and stuff. What's your favorite to race on?
That's such. I mean, I feel like I'm better at oval, but.
I got you. So,
oh God, I don't know. I want to say road course though because IndyCar.
Yeah. Sherwin, did you have something on your mind?
Well, no, I think I'm just listening to what she's saying, and like she's obviously hung up between, is an oval more fun to race on or is a road course, and I think, as we have progressed in our fandom of what stock car racing is, we have become a lot more affectionate of road course racing, just because it creates dynamics that you cannot create on an oval race.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear you say you're kind of torn. I'm not surprised.
I mean, don't get me wrong though. If I ever got like a NASCAR deal for like the trucks or any K&N, I would take it in a heartbeat.
Of course you would. Sure. Oh yeah, it's not a matter of let's compare whether or not you get a ride in one thing versus what you really love to do the most. I mean, I think A.J. Allmendinger would say that he would love to have been in an IndyCar racing street courses only.
Sure.
But he's finishing 7th at Martinsville, and that's a pretty good living in a stock car.
Right.
For sure. Khloe, what? So we know probably your biggest hobby at this point. What are you doing when you're not driving cars?
Well, I did compete in competition dance, which
competition dance. Tell us about that.
Competition dance.
What is is this like? Did you serve people? Is that how they got served?
Well. Have you ever seen like a dance competition or the show?
No, I haven't.
Songs?
I haven't.
I have. I'll say I have.
Okay.
I went to watch the Georgia State dance team competition before when I was in high school because I had a friend who had a girlfriend
were you
on
chasing
the team.
somebody?
I'm sure I was. I've seen this take place.
Okay, so what happens at a
it's
dance?
Like a team dance thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, if anybody watching has seen the show Dance Moms, that's a really good example. But it's basically like you have a team and it's very precise and you all have to match and basically it's dancing, but there's like 10 different styles and you go to a bunch of competitions in the year. Possibly just finished my last competition of the year because I'm getting ready for racing season, but we won, so it was all good.
Oh, awesome. Well, one trophy there. Hopefully you get to put a bunch of them next to it this year in racing.
Oh, heck yeah, I hope so.
By God and all the disciples.
What's your favorite dance style then?
I'm gonna say musical theater because I also dabbled in musical theater or tap. I really like tap too.
Tap, wow. So
Tap.
musical theater
Awesome.
and tap.
Have you ever clogged?
I have not. They do not offer that at our studio.
Boy, that's something down here, Sherwin. I don't know. Back when we used to go to like the state fairs and stuff, there was always a clogging team or group or whatever you want to call them.
Brett Griffin, spotted for Clint Boyer, used to clog.
Did he now?
Right?
Did he now?
Yeah, he'll dance a ditty for you if you get him right. If you can put enough
I'm
whiskey
telling
in
you,
him.
that team is like perfect.
In every way. With that, let's go ahead and talk about it then. Let's tear it down from this last week at Martinsville. Here it is, Sherwin. Let's start off with what the snow.
What the snow?
What the snow.
I think they were like, was it Snow My God? Hashtag Snow My God.
Don't talk about those puns. Don't talk about them.
Oh,
And
why
we're
not?
trying to reach. We're trying to reach the younger generation, Khloe.
Right. This is
No, they're so bad. I cringe
agree.
every time. I'm like, what are you doing, NASCAR?
I can't wait to see all the hatred in the chat feed there.
No, you know what? I would agree with you when like the corporate entities try to latch onto it, and like Wendy's or something is like, hey, during Snow My God, come on down to Wendy's and get you a and you're like, oh geez, guys, come on, don't try to be cool. But
I know, it's just so weird.
but otherwise I'm down with it. I like being an old guy that like says all the kids stuff just to make them cringe, So,
no, I do enjoy
that's
that.
funny, but
Yeah.
NASCAR thinks they're like connecting, and I'm like, that's not what we say.
Sherwin, I don't know what to say about snow other than why in the hell are we racing in Martinsville this early in the season? I mean, this is Northern Virginia. Me and you've been there,
Well, it's not. It's plenty far north, but
Well, maybe I shouldn't call it.
It's
It's
not-
not like North Virginia,
it's
but
not-
it's in the
it's
it's in
plenty.
the zone.
It's in
obviously.
it's in the zone of places we should not be going. When there are other places we could be, like, and I'll say this over and over: Sonoma. The average temperature this time of year is pretty awesome, and it's green.
Right.
When we go back there in July, it's going to be brown and look ugly. So I mean, there's definitely places we could be that aren't what Martinsville was this time. I think they got really unlucky with the weather forecast.
Sure.
But it is fun to make fun of.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
6 inches of snow is pretty nuts.
That is crazy how much that was. And I having been in that so many times with the Blame PETM, and we got some Blame PETM.
Hell yeah, we did.
That was hilarious.
Which is awesome. We're just going to embrace that.
Absolutely.
Hashtag.
Absolutely. We weren't even there and we brought the snow. But I really feel bad. Having been in that situation so many times now, I really felt bad for the fans more than anything, Like, you've paid your money to go, and who was it? I saw somebody on Twitter, forgive me, I can't remember who you were, but they drove up there 7 hours, spent probably $1,000, and they said I got to see 24 laps of racing, which Truck Series.
Oh,
and
my God.
it's I can't imagine.
I forgot they even raced that many. I thought it was like 12.
Yeah. But I mean, I think they also got encouraged by what happened in Atlanta, where we started the race with everybody laughing at us, and then we finished it up. So, hey, if you can get the race started at this point, that whole, we talked about it before, that whole, well, we only start the race if we think we can get halfway. That's bullspit, right? Like they can.
Oh, that's for sure bullspit.
Right. That's what they tell everybody. But if they can get,
that's an out and out lie.
If they can get one lap in, they're going to do it, and credit to them for doing it. But bummer that they couldn't finish it up, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I want to give Khloe the floor. I'm going to let her speak about it.
I just read a comment that said Texas should be first, and then off week, and then Martinsville, which I agree to that completely.
That's a great point. Yep.
I feel like, I don't know, I kind of agree with what you guys said. I kind of wish we could tell weather sooner. Like, for our race that was canceled, we canceled like Thursday morning, so so more people had time to figure it out. But I thought the Monday race was great, but well, obviously it wasn't supposed to happen.
Now, sure, when I had like a late afternoon meeting that started like 2 p.m. or whatever it was, and so I was upset. I had to drive in. I drove into work, and then I came back home so I could watch the end of the race, and I was glad I did. It sounded like you even had some tougher situations, huh?
No, I had it at 2 p.m., but I was already at home.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that was annoying was that 6:40 a.m., the only station in Atlanta that plays the race, didn't have it. They were doing their regular talk. So I thought I could leave home and go to Monday happy hour and listen to the end of the race. So I was not able to do that. It's about a 25-minute ride in traffic. So I get there, and I, start raising hell. Going, I need the race on. I need the race on the TV. I need the race on the TV. And, they're not reacting as quickly as I want them to. And I'm like, I need you to react more quickly.
Right.
And, so, by the time, as soon as it hit, Clint was already in victory lane. I was like, hell yeah, Clint won.
Boom.
That's when I bring out my phone, and I will, if I'm in a restaurant and they're not putting on the race, I will turn up my volume all the way with the race on until they put it on the TV.
Well, that's a good way to do it.
That's not a bad move at all. I knew I had recorded the end of the race. Actually, I recorded the entire race just because, in case something weird happened with work, and I just couldn't watch any of it. But I had watched, literally, I think I left the house with 80 laps to go, and I was like, I hope I get to the bar by the time there's 10 to go.
Yeah.
And I missed those 10, but I did see Boyer in victory lane. That was really cool.
We'll talk about Boyer in a second, but how about Khloe? We'll let you have the floor here. How about Hamlin and Harvick doing the brake check, and then Hamlin knocked around by Truex? Hamlin got a little, I don't know,
I'm not
saying
the
payback.
Truex stuff.
That
would go back and watch.
The Truex thing was a racing deal. The Harvick brake check thing was a Harvick Hamlin deal.
On the brakes at the start finish line.
Yeah. If you're Denny Hamlin, you feel like you got tossed around in that race. I'll tell you what, Khloe, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to be brutally honest. I don't really like either of them.
Boom.
Take that, Brandon.
I love it.
But I'll take Kevin Harvick's side because I don't like him a little less.
I like it.
Wow, we are all in the same pool of opinion, I think.
Yeah. I don't know what the impetus necessarily was for it, but that messed up Denny Hamlin bad. He was screaming over the radio, going, he's going, my damn hood's flopping all over the place.
Right.
It was great.
Well, and his temperature was going up. Which was a primary issue.
Yeah. And then he gets knocked around by Truex. And it just...
I did not see that. I got to see that now. I got to go back and look at it because that's funny.
It was great. I say great. If you're a Hamlin fan, probably not so great. But you know what? There's a little karma I felt like built up in the racing sense.
You know who got the loudest cheers at Martinsville?
Who's that?
Chase Elliott.
By God.
As reported by Jeff Gluck.
So we've pumped the brakes enough now that we get to talk about Boyer. Boyer is what I wrote in the notes.
How did we leave? I know we've already mentioned them, but the most exciting thing that's happened in, I don't know, maybe a couple of years in terms of a guy winning that means the win just isn't a win. We managed to hold that off for 30 minutes. So
right?
We're about to blow this thing up.
Yeah, let's blow it up just like Boyer did.
I think nobody knows, that listens to this, that doesn't follow on the Twitter on the regular basis, probably doesn't realize that, Clint's really been my second guy for, 11 years.
Oh, you've got that, old number 7
I posted
Jack Daniels
flag.
Yeah,
on
that
Twitter.
thing's badass.
Clint's, I've been really quiet about it because I didn't want to take any crap over it because people have been really mean about him.
Yeah.
You know, specifically a couple of different accounts are really mean about his progress or lack of. I'm a Clint guy.
Yeah.
I'm all in on Clint.
And I was totally in, especially with the Jack Daniels car. All right.
I would bring a handle of Jack Daniels to the racetrack.
Yeah. Yeah. And so for him, I guess for me, it was finding out the lore, the stories and stuff. I mean, the stories that you hear about how he parties and how crazy he is and what a cool guy he is. And then when he starts getting a couple top fives or whatever and gets interviewed, and then you start listening to him and you're going, all right, this guy, I'm in. So Sherwin was on that boat a bit earlier than I was, but I'm certainly, I'm not the captain of that ship, but I'm definitely rowing. How about yourself, Khloe?
I always have liked Clint Boyer. I made it. Definitely. Okay, I've always liked him. Had never had an issue with him. I just know I really wanted to see him do better. And then when he won, I was so excited. I was like standing up, jumping up and down. I was so excited.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I shouldn't say I think. I know I was too. Same thing. And what a crazy race at the end of it, where he's 1.2 seconds ahead the whole time. Like there was 75, maybe 100 laps that he stayed at that same pace ahead of Kyle Busch, who's, I mean, and y'all know Kyle and short track stuff. I mean, he's sawing at it. He's doing everything he can. He's making up 0.1 on one lap and then losing 0.3 on the next.
Well, he's had best average finish over the last 4 races at Martinsville, if I heard or read that correctly. So, I mean, just to see Clint out front, to me, just it's only a good thing for NASCAR, and that's what I see first. What I see first is Clint's out front. It's a car that Tony Stewart used to drive. He drives it because it was A.J. Foyt's number. He handpicked Clint Boyer to drive the car. Clint is a very likable guy. He's a party animal. And he's got, I mean, the picture moment of the race weekend was Cash, his 3-year-old, running at him on pit road.
Yeah.
So you got that like emotional involvement from everybody that appreciates family and kids and all that stuff, which is awesome. Like he's everything. Like Clint is everything.
Clint is. I don't know about everything, but he's definitely like. You flipped your couch, didn't you?
I flipped the couch. I took a picture
I saw that.
of the flag that's hanging in my bonus room. It's been hanging there for 5 years since I moved in there. It's been there the entire time. I bought it in 2007, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
I was like, man, this dude driving this Jack Daniels car for Richard Childress, he's cool.
We used to run that up the flagpole back in the old days at AMS.
We used to hang it, from the tent or run it up the flagpole. Like, I've been a Clint guy. I've been tried my best not to like, what's the word, like
take credit almost, or?
Demand that the people around me support the guy I like. I'm just saying, but look, it says Jack Daniels on it, so why don't you run it up the pole? They're like, oh yeah, cool. And like, I don't think I wasn't never telling you had to like Clint Boyer.
Oh no, you're gonna like Clint.
I like Clint Boyer, and that was 11 years ago.
Yeah. So, so here's a good question, Khloe. Who's your favorite driver, and then like who's your closet driver, like Sherwin's talking about right now, where he's had the flag for a long time, he hadn't really expressed it or whatever. What's your 2 drivers there?
Well, everybody knows my top driver is Joey Logano.
We can support that.
Closet driver. Now, is this somebody who is like a mid-pack driver or somebody I just don't mention a lot?
Someone you like, but you don't like. You don't wear their shirt or their hat or whatever.
Sure. Probably it was Clint Boyer, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, I didn't know you liked him." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I've always been a fan of him. I need to get a shirt. I know that."
I'll tell you one that Sherwin doesn't know of me, because I haven't really expressed. But every time he's doing good, I'm like pumping my fists and I'm excited. Jamie McMurray. I'm a closet Jamie Mac guy. I love the hair.
You're
I love
right,
the style.
I didn't know it, but I'm okay. Like,
yeah, you're cool with it.
Yeah, I'm
Can
good.
I say something about Jamie McMurray?
You can say anything you want on this podcast.
He kind of looks like Ben Stiller, like a lot.
I totally see that.
That's interesting.
I totally see that.
That's just something I've needed to express that I haven't said, and I really need to.
I like it.
I would love to see Ben cut his hair like Jamie. But I think from a body shape and size, definitely.
Yeah.
Facial structure is pretty similar too.
Because I was thinking, I don't think I was a closet. I was out of the closet on being a.
Careful. No, I'm just kidding.
On being
this is a progressive podcast.
That's right. on being a Carl Edwards fan. Obviously, I was.
Oh, you were always, and that was fun.
Miss Carl
Make it fun
Edwards.
is there was a time, Khloe, when like Rusty was like not a big, but like his second or third and guy he wanted to root for was Carl, and my guy in that respect at that tier was Brad. So
Battle of the teeth.
We were kind of going back and forth, like, do we have to fight now? Like, I'm not sure
Maybe
what's going on after all that bull spit that went on at Atlanta.
True,
We were
with
like,
the car and the freaking fence and nutcase
old
stuff.
Bob Keselowski saying he was going to get in there. You ain't going to kill my boy or whatever.
Well, let me tell you this. I don't care who you are, Carl Edwards will whip your ass.
I think you're
Dude,
right unless
Carl
I have
Edwards
a weapon.
holds a special place in my heart.
Tell us about that.
When I was like 5 years old and I went to my first cup race at Michigan, he won, and I got to see him do the backflip, and it was like the most exciting thing ever.
We saw him win
So
at
the
Atlanta.
second race that I ever went to, I think it was Rusty's third race.
Mm-hmm.
Carl won.
Yeah, that was that crazy one over. Was
No,
that
that was
him?
spring. That was our second race. Both of us.
Yeah,
were
it was our
races.
second race. Yeah, and he did the backflip. We were sitting back in the Weaver grandstands.
Well, it was like Bobby Labonte and Jeff Gordon and like 13 other cars wrecked on
lap one.
On lap 0. They hadn't even turned a
Hadn't
lap
even run
yet.
a lap.
And like 13 cars were wrecked out coming down the backstretch. And I wish I need to go back and watch the video footage because I don't even know who caused it. But Jeff Gordon was driving that Nicorette car that we thought was so cool because it was like, I mean, in person, it was as day glow as you can get. Day glow green, day glow yellow.
Just get offensive with that day glow.
That thing had its own light source. But he was out, like, immediately to start the race. And then, but the finish was absolutely, it was just the same as Harvick and Gordon at in 2001 when he first got in Earnhardt's car. It was the same last 2 or 3 laps.
I got to think subconsciously that's what got me being a Carl fan, is watching those last few laps, watching him do the backflip live and going, all right, this I can get into this. This guy's fun. And then his post-race interviews, he'd crash out in 48th position and still be coming out of the car going, man, that was I was so close. That was really fun. He just whether or not, I think for you it was like, this dude's just faking, but
no,
for me it was like, man, I just like how excited he was.
So I'll tell you what it was, and then we'll have to give Khloe a chance to speak again because I might talk for a couple minutes. But,
No, you're all good.
what it was I loved that moment, and that was the Scott's car there. So at Atlanta, it was mostly green and black and white. It wasn't the Office Depot red or any of those other sponsors he'd had. Not that matters one way or another about what this podcast is, but I didn't hate it at all. I especially love the fact that like we were there for a rookie's first win. I will always cherish the fact that we were there for a Cup rookie's first win.
Well, sure.
And especially a guy that's probably going to end up in the Hall of Fame, I would imagine. He won enough races that he belongs there, especially in all the series combined. But where was I going with that?
Come on, Grandpa. Get to it. Oh, man.
No, I think what it was that really got me upset with Carl was the Xfinity race or a nationwide or even might have been Busch race at the time where he got in a wreck with Junior, or maybe he got raced a little boogered up with Junior, and he drove off pit road at full speed and hit Junior in turn 1 in a pace slap. And I was like, no, sir.
No, sir.
This is not.
It's hard to.
We can't. Because Junior was my second guy.
Right.
Casey
right.
number 1, but Junior was my second guy.
Carl was my close number 2, so
and,
it was.
And Junior was like, God damn, my hand was out the window. He almost got my hand. And, he was really funny about it because that's the way Junior is.
Right,
but
right.
I was like, that mother.
Oh, yeah.
All the other syllables after that, but.
Well, and as a Carl fan, I'm going, well, take his hand off next time, Carl. Come on.
Right. And so that's fine. That's what makes this sport so much fun is that we can all like agree and disagree and yell at each other and embrace each other when our drivers that we like do well or drivers get tangled up. I mean, I think that's what the rivalry thing is, or not rivalry, but just these guys are getting tangled up every week, and it makes for good entertainment.
Brandon Carl on the YouTube says he was at that race too. That is awesome. I love it.
So, Khloe, you got anything to add there? I kind of rambled and then forgot what I was talking about and then remembered.
Oh, when you were talking about the rivalries, that just brought up funny stories when I've had some interesting interactions at races with other fans.
Please tell me.
Oh my gosh. It
you
was
go to a couple of fights where some races broke out.
Ironically, because I'm like so small, and these guys, like I said before, these guys are all grown men. But there's a race. It was a truck race. My dad was spotting for like Seneca, and
well, that's a cuss word
that's a story
this
for
week,
another
isn't
day.
it?
But I think I was wearing a Joey Logano shirt because I was going to the cup race the next day, and I packed both my Joey shirts just because. And there was this Kyle Busch fan sitting next to me, and he was just pounding away. And Kyle Busch was in the race, and I don't hate Kyle Busch, but I sometimes don't like him as a person, but he's a good driver.
We are like, we're soulmates on that, exactly what you just said. So continue. I just wanted to.
I always think I sound crazy.
You're in good company with that exact succinct way of putting it.
Right. But I don't even know what it was. I was rooting for Bubba Wallace because that's the race Bubba Wallace won that I went to.
Hey, check it out. Number 6 hat. I'm wearing a Bubba Wallace and signed right now.
Heck yeah. Look at that.
Oh, we're all in on some Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
Not to derail your story. Finish your story.
This guy, I think I cheered for Bubba once, and this guy just stood up and started screaming at me for my shirt. And then it was about the randomest stuff, too. He was like, Kyle could beat him any day. And I was like, I'm cheering for Bubba, man. It was the weirdest thing ever.
Because this is the appropriate gesture.
The read between the lines.
Oh my gosh, no. And I was with my friend who's never been to a NASCAR race before, and she's smaller than me. And she's just sitting there like terrified.
I mean, objectively speaking, I'm not going to put Kyle as the winner of very many fisticuffs.
I don't think he's going to win.
He swung. He swung, and Joey. He could beat up Joey.
He is 6'2".
He's got that.
No,
I'm
Joe,
6'2". I mean,
know you are.
Joey,
Yeah, Kyle's
I don't
tall.
think people give Joey enough recognition for that. I think he could throw some punches.
Joey is also
probably
6'2",
spry.
6'3". He's tall.
I would say, yeah, he's
right.
definitely tall. We need to. So, in the spirit of March Madness and all the stupid, brackets that people put together, maybe we put together a fighting one, sure, on who's
That'd
going
be awesome.
Whatever, and just go ahead and everybody mark Tony Stewart as the champion, and we'll get on with our
it
lives.
would have to be active drivers.
I love Tony
It
Stewart.
would be harder if it was.
All right, we're doing it right now. Active driver who would win in the 60-4 team brawl. Who not all at the same time, just one on one.
Who's the best? Who does nobody want to get punched by that is driving a car today?
I'll tell you what, that is tough answer with both Tony and Carl out. I mean, Carl is the nice guy persona thing at least, but
he's a pretty stout dude.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not obvious already, I've got this man crush thing on Carl. I've still got the Men's Health magazine where he was on the front, and he's totally ripped.
I'm reading the message board here, and people are saying Newman, and a lot of people have said Newman.
No,
I don't think Newman's tough. He's never shown that he's tough. He's shown that he's stout in stature.
Yeah,
but he's never attacked anybody.
Right.
He even told Joey not to touch him. What are you going to do, little guy?
Yeah.
And
what was that? What did you say that one time?
I would say, look, if somebody
I can't even remember.
you're looking for somebody in like a couple teeth broken off bar, go ahead, Khloe.
Khloe's got her answer.
I think Matt DiBenedetto, he spent some time in the gym.
That is a good.
See, I don't think people realize that he probably, outside of lifting weights, probably does a little bit of that jiu-jitsu.
He might. Well, all you got to do is train that a little bit, and you're going to be a punch ahead of everybody else. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. I was going to say, DiBenedetto is a great pick. I was going to say Clint, because that dude, he's been in bars where there's teeth broken off at the gum.
That's a great point.
And he's lived through it.
One of them, you punch him in the wrong spot, and he'll turn around and give you a big old teeth full of smile.
Say the wrong thing.
Oh, man.
Hey, man, you ready to go?
Yeah.
I'll just A+ this.
All right, I'll go with... here's the thing. Obviously, I think Jimmy's like the most fit guy, but I'm not sure if in a brawl he's going to be like the one to just take it down,
I think
to
if it was
throw
like an
down.
MMA match or something, like where you had like time.
Oh yeah, and there's
it's
strategy
it's
and
a
like he's bringing it down.
environment.
And Chad's over in the corner yelling at him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with Jimmy on that. But like, if it's like
street brawl, I'm going Kurt Busch.
Nelly,
because he will first cuss your ass out.
He'll cuss you so hard you'll think you've been hit in the face.
Right. So he's got that advantage to start with. So there we go. Yep.
I don't hate him, but yeah, I think the same. If he ever started yelling at me, I'd probably start backing down a lot too. He's kind of scary.
Harvick is not a bad play. He's a wrestler. He's definitely he's tough. Like, there's no doubt Harvick's tough.
I feel like Harvick's ego's in the way.
Roger says that.
Totally agree with you.
Roger says that Jeffrey Earnhardt fought MMA.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
so
I know. Yes.
That's one of those like.
He's also
every time I've seen.
So that's going to be a problem.
You can't see Sherwin is not. He is not. It's below his head while sitting down. Is what he just gave for Jeffrey.
A solid 5'5".
I would not fight against
best day
any person who has ever stepped in an MMA ring. I will not like. I'm not going to fight anybody anyway, But
sure.
Especially like even
that's
like
why
a
this segment's fun because we're like
even like a
this
fun
would never
thing.
happen with us.
Yeah, PTM Posse, y'all gotta send us your picks.
Like if you get mad enough, we're like, oh, we're gonna fight now. We're like gonna be, no, we're not.
All right,
this is not happening.
So we need
I don't need to go to jail.
Boyer,
whether I win or lose, I'm not going to jail.
A Boyer, DiBenedetto, and Kurt Busch brawl. We need to go ahead and schedule that.
Jeffrey Earnhardt.
And Jeffrey Earnhardt. Yep.
Yes.
You can draw straws, and then we'll have like it's semifinals. We'll have 3 bouts.
I'm in. That sounds good. I'll set it up this week.
Please do.
Look for it tomorrow. Really, right before Easter.
Did Boyer have the best burnout ever? And if your answer is no, then are you crazy?
And was the first one the best or the second?
I was laughing so hard when he started. I was like, what is he doing?
When he did it, I was like, if you pull this off, you are the biggest badass I have ever seen do a burnout.
I was watching it live.
He didn't hit anything.
Well, and the tires were smoking down the back straightaway. And then
lighting them. He was getting that grease on.
They didn't say anything yet. And then as soon as he what was cool, in my mind, actually, what was really cool, if you go back and watch that replay, Jeff Gordon reacts before anybody else does because he sees him just like that millimeter of break loose. He broke loose going into 3 for the burnout, and Jeff was the one going, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, hey, what's going on here? And then he spins it out and everything, and then they all start laughing, But Jeff had this racer's moment of, oh, crap.
He's doing something we've not seen before.
That was incredible.
When I first watched it, it didn't catch on to me that, the race was like over it and all the other cars were going to the pits. So I started freaking out. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because that was like the first lap around, too. I thought he might start collecting people.
I was like, no, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, what was really funny is hear some of these media folk talk about how, like Clint Boyer just, he did that burnout in 3 and 4. He went and did the burnout on the front stretch. He went and hugged his kid. He jumped up in the stands and sprayed champagne all over them.
Well,
and, they hadn't even done the TV portion of the get out of the car thing yet.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
It had to be completely restaged. They had pushed the car into what was victory lane on the front stretch, and he had to get back in and then get back out.
He gave, I think I saw somebody on Twitter say it. He gave the universal sign of "Give me a beer."
Yeah.
He did the come here, I need a beer, to the stands.
Yes.
Hey,
he
fan,
did that. And
come here, give me. I need a beer. You got a beer?
On camera, he was like, "Give me one of them damn beers."
That was
somebody handed him a 25-ounce Busch Light.
Pretty sure that got drank in record time.
Good stuff. And Clint's good for NASCAR, by God.
I'll tell you what.
And if you don't believe that, you didn't pay any attention to what happened this weekend.
Sherwin texted me earlier this week, and he said, dude, I think it came from Door Bumper Clear, but because he had listened to it before I did, and he says, "Dude, there's a new phrase that we need to add to the lexicon, to the vocabulary, and it's blowing a motor." Apparently, at 10:30 p.m. that night, after the race, Clint blew a motor.
Buddy, just like Billy Bob in Varsity Blues, puked and rally.
Puke and rally. Yep. Kept going. So, have you heard that one or any other euphemisms for blowing chunks there, Chloe?
I have not, but I love it. Love it.
Well, there's that bit from Jeff Foxworthy, not his most recent, or not recent, but obviously like that main one he did in '96, that special. But the one before that, where he talked about Ricky puked the motor, and even he did that whole NASCAR bit that was 20 seconds long. That was way too hard to memorize unless you try to memorize it.
So
puked the motor. Yep. All right. So blow a motor.
Oh
right,
yeah,
I got
yeah.
you.
Booger jacked a wedge in there.
Yeah,
That was
Booger jacked some wedge in there. I understood exactly what Spotter Brett meant when he said Clint blew a motor at 10:30. I'm like, he yacked.
Roger just hit us with two of them, dude. Reversal of fortune.
Oh my god!
I had a reversal of fortune last night.
That is so awesome.
And this one gives some projectileness to it. A Roman candle.
Oh my god! Yes.
Oh, he had a Roman candle.
Somebody recently called that a redneck. What do they call that? A redneck fire launcher or something? Never mind. But I don't want to belittle how funny
the reversal of fortune. Say it. Oh man!
I'm trying not to laugh, and it's just not working.
Back in college, I had some reversals of fortune.
Man, I started thinking about that when they started talking. So they had Clint come on Door Bumper Clear, and they surprised his ass and put him on speaker and plugged him into the microphone. And he's like, "God damn, what did we do last night?"
Brandon Carl just hit us with the 7-10 split.
That's good too. Oh my god!
Holy crap! Y'all keep them coming. This is fantastic. We'll just sit here and do euphemisms for barfing all night long and really make Chloe uncomfortable. But hopefully she's laughing.
And so, on the show, Clint was like, "How many motors did we blow last night? 7 or 8, I think."
Oh my god! Oh man! Oh. Well, let's we'll keep as long as y'all keep coming. We'll keep saying them, but we will move on to our next. Our next topic.
What the support for this show is going to
be.
Sorry, Chloe.
Yeah, deep in the ditch. If you're having fun, you're having fun. If you're not having fun, you just ain't listening to the right podcasts. Then
you're just not fun.
You're not fun. All right, so we got some questions from the PTM posse. Mick Rose at GoDucks42_Mick. I love this question, Sherwin. This is my favorite question for a while. If you could only add one new track, and we talked about this before. To the Cup schedule, would it be a road course or a short track?
Should we let our guest host go first?
Go for it, Chloe. You're the driver. You tell us.
I'm gonna say short track, definitely.
Definitely short track.
Do you have one in mind? And I think at this point we have to just use our imagination because we have to pretend that we could go there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But use your imagination on where you would want them to go.
I know exactly what my answer is on what kind and where.
Me too.
Maybe I'll let you guys answer first. I'd have to think about that one.
Okay. It's all right. And you're going to steal my answer, I bet. No, go for it. I want to hear yours, actually.
So my answer is road course.
Uh-huh.
And it's Road America at Elkhart Lake.
Okay. You did not steal my answer. My answer is road course and Mexico.
Oh, you guys say road course?
Mexico City.
Mexico City. And think about Daniel Suarez getting down there. That would draw How huge a race would that be? That would sell out immediately.
Oh, I didn't think about
that
it
would
from
be
a peripheral perspective. It's a really good point.
Yeah, and
way better than going to that Circuit Gilles Villeneuve up in Canada crap.
Yeah, the Canandaigua.
If we're going to deal with the passport issue, let's go to a place where we actually have legit reason for excitement.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Mexico City.
Mexico City. That place would sell out. It would be a party. It would be a fiesta. It would be unbelievable.
Tacos would be amazing.
It would. I'm
Wow.
I want to go there. I'm there. No, they actually have really good tacos in Mexico City. Like it's a real thing.
Who got in trouble for that?
I wasn't really trying to even be a
somebody
jerk.
said
I
that
was just trying to
about
be
Juan
funny.
Pablo Montoya, and it was like the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what's funny about that, Chloe? We used to sit in the grandstands at all the races we go to, and like they would announce Juan Pablo Montoya on the stage before the race, and we'd be like, "Go back to Mexico!" And people around us who are like way stupider than us, they go, "You realize he's Colombian, right?" And we're like, "Yeah, that's the joke. We just trolled you."
It was definitely a troll. I don't know if I'm proud of that or not, but
don't know.
we
Anymore,
definitely.
it's probably not a great way to troll people.
Yeah, but it
we
was
both liked Montoya, by the way. Like,
Oh, I
we
rooted for him. I love Montoya.
Actively rooted for him.
Yeah. But that was some funny stuff. So, do you know which short track you're going to?
This was the one in my mind. I'm gonna steal it from a comment or two. Somebody said Wilkesboro, and I like that one.
I
so
was
I'm gonna
thinking
steal that one.
Yeah, I mean, Save the Speedway.
Oh, yeah,
And
those
or
guys on the show
Iowa.
back in January.
Iowa.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the North Wilkesboro. If you're picking a short track, that's the short track to go to.
Yeah, and that one's like what was it, like a 5/8? So it's like one of those kind of goofy sizes. It's not a teeny tiny one, but it's not one of those super real
And
fast
so
ones.
much history. We talked about it on that show where every other driver has won there.
You know who's from Wilkes County?
Who's that?
Junior Johnson.
Yes, sir. And he has a whiskey distillery.
Yeah, he's got a lot of history there,
Yeah.
including getting arrested for running booze, getting forgiven by, I believe it was Dwight D. Eisenhower. I mean,
Dwight probably got a couple cases for that.
I mean, the man. Yeah, well, wouldn't you? I mean, certainly you'd hope. I mean, it's just. I mean, there you don't get more NASCAR than North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
That I would love to see them be able to figure out anything they could do there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we had the guy on. Golly, I wish I remembered his first name, but Save the Speedway is their Twitter handle.
Yeah.
And
Fantastic.
it was a great episode. I think it was back around 93 or 94, somewhere around there, if you want to look back.
Something like that. Let's move on. Andrew Cantian at KHANTZIAN. He says, even though he's the biggest, I'll say, doo-doo head in the garage, Denny Hamlin said that the lack of cautions at Martinsville could be because of the telemetry sharing that now occurs. So the team's sharing all the telemetry data. He says the cars run the same speed now, and there are more spec parts this year. So the splitter, the oil pan, on top of the hood, the quote-unquote trunk lid, whatever.
Yep.
With more
I think
next
the
year.
roof cover is also mandated.
Yes, you're exactly right. Yep. With more next year with the composite bodies, what are your thoughts on his opinion that contributes to the lack of cautions at Martinsville? Sherwin, I would say...
I think he's a poor man's Brad Keselowski.
Okay. How do you mean?
He's just trying to politic.
I would say that, throughout this whole season, there's been a lack of cautions. I think the fact, one, that we're in our second year of stage racing.
Good year.
So, yeah, there's so many factors. So, and here's the thing. If he really means that, if he's heartfelt about that, then he's a race car driver, and I'm not. So he probably has a lot more insight into this whole thing. So I'm just speculating otherwise. But I'm here to speculate.
Well, that's what we're doing here.
And so certainly I think here's the thing. It's hard for me to think. I don't know. It's hard for me to say that the shared telemetry and the stock parts are what causes less cautions. That seems like a weird. It seems like a longer leap than what you just said. Tires or what I was talking about with this is our second year stage racing. Jacques Debris hasn't showed up all that often.
Well, so he picked a really, really awkward location to bring that up.
To bring it up, yeah.
So, because what you would do at a short track like Martinsville that had 2 lanes all day would be to take more chances if you thought running a faster entry and a lower line to take a position would be, and then maybe you bump your guy out of the way, the one you're trying to pass. I don't think he made a very good assimilation or a very good analogy. I think it was almost the opposite. I think not the opposite, but
not the opposite.
I think the tire we didn't see enough long runs to see if the tire would wear out. We did see 2 lines at Martinsville for significant periods of time where you could pass on the outside, you could pass on the inside. It's not Bristol, obviously, but I think Denny missed his mark. I think if he wanted to make this argument, he should have made it at a fast track.
I could see telemetry. Well, no,
I
you
could see
make
his
a good
point in terms of from the science behind his point of saying, well, everybody knows what everybody's throttle trace is. So once they figure out what their setup is and they figure out whose throttle trace they want to try to copy, then I could see, we're all running the same speed. But every time you get under a guy, well, why don't you just, if you did that for 3 laps, why don't you just booger the guy up and go by him?
Well, we've got, what do you call it? I was about to say
Denley's just scared because of how the backlash he got from running into the back of Chase.
Well, we don't have the caution clock thing. Whatever. That's not caution clock. Was that Truck's thing? What are they calling it? The 5-minute timer or a 6-minute timer to get back on track. So.
The rec clock.
Right. The rec clock. So you don't have, like you've said before, racing back with the buttholes. We don't have the buttholes are off the track. We have these stage racing things.
Well, the buttholes are getting out of the way too.
Yeah. So I think that's. I think there's a lot of little pieces. I think he definitely has added a little piece on top of that pile, but there's so many little pieces that you can't just attribute it all to one thing. Khloe, we've been rambling. What do you think?
Personally, I think the cars should be more the same. I don't know if that really, like you said, has to really do with the amount of cautions, but I personally would rather the cars be the same and have less cautions, because I thought Martinsville race-wise was a super good race, and I know it was a short track, so that's expected, but that was my favorite race out of the whole season, so I don't really agree with that so far. I
would agree with you, and maybe to Denny's point, to a degree, look at back in the IROC days where they just gave them all the same car. Not really cautions during that, so that could play a role. I don't know. So,
well, yeah, in IROC,
and IROC races were so awesome,
where they mostly ran at fast tracks and they were horsepower inhibited. So they were basically restrictor plate races.
Yeah. So they were driver races.
So they were a lot like today's Xfinity races in a lot of ways. Cars were probably more similar than today's Xfinity cars, but in terms of what the possibilities were for passing are probably a lot more similar to what today's Xfinity race is. So, yeah, and IROC races were pretty damn cool. And there's a reason why Mark Martin won 6 of them championships. You don't accidentally do that. Just like Dale Earnhardt didn't accidentally win 28 races at Daytona.
Good God. So with that, getting into our just kind of crazy stuff, because, hey, we don't have a race this weekend, so if you want to shut her down now, go for it. But otherwise, I don't recommend it. We're going to have some fun here. Braves Sherwin with a walk-off on our first.
And all the disciples.
After being down 5-0, had 8 unanswered runs. Khloe, are you a baseball fan?
I am. I'm a Yankees fan.
Oh, my gosh.
We'll have to suspend that for a minute.
Well, so here's the thing. I always bring this up with a Yankees fan, just to bridge the gap and be like, hey, we're still cool, right? I went to the very last Braves. See, I'm thinking Braves. I went to the very last Yankees Red Sox game at Old Yankee Stadium. Me and my dad flew up there so that we could go to Old Yankee Stadium. It was the last one that the Yankees were playing the Red Sox. And you cannot help but, forgive me, everybody in the South, but root for the Yankees in that stadium. The vibe is so good in there, and the fandom is so good that it was impressive. I found myself excited when home teams score and run. You know, that's really what it is. But their home team is so boisterous that it was fun. So
when they're even marginally good, they sell out every game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's impressive in and of itself.
So now,
but I still am going to consider lynching you after the podcast is over. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Wow.
We got our friend Andrew Cansian, who's a huge Yankees fan, as he should be, because he's from that area. And I mean, this is what's so much fun about being a sports fan is you just be like, I love the fact that you support your team. I hate your team, so in that vein, I'm going to hate you. But I'm not going to hate you, the person. I'm just going to hate you, the fan, for this narrow window of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for 2.5 hours, we are not friends. And then immediately after, let's go get beers.
Right. Chloe, what got you as a Yankees fan?
I can't pinpoint it exactly. Even like when I was younger, I think it was just one of the teams. I was like, you know what? I like that one. And I kind of took on. And when I went to New York, I was like, got to get the Yankees hat, and just fed off from there. There's not really a significant time where I was like, yes, Yankees is my team.
My dad's second cousin is Wade Boggs. And so there is a little bit of like family stuff there too. You didn't know that? 3,000 hits plus Hall of Fame Wade Boggs, the Wade Boggs.
You never told me that?
I never told you that? Wow.
You know Thomas's wife. Like
Thomas's wife? Yeah.
Wade Boggs is her uncle.
That's hilarious. Like where? So like I'm related to Thomas's wife
like
somehow,
through marriage or
in
something,
a weird
I think,
way.
Like,
yeah.
Like Thomas has been to Wade Boggs' house.
Wow.
He's got one of those little mini cooler thing, the mini.
It's crazy
with Miller Lite in every room in his house.
Well, obviously he drinks 75 beers a day, but no, like family reunions and stuff. Wade will be there. Now there hadn't been one in forever, but when I was younger, and my dad would meet up with him, because he was AL. So when we were living in Wisconsin, if the Brewers were playing one of the teams that he was on at that point, then he would
with the Red Sox then.
Yeah, with the Red Sox. So if they were playing the Red Sox, Wade would come and hang out with us for a bit.
Sorry to derail you.
Yeah,
no, Thomas married into
that's hilarious.
A family that married into Wade Boggs.
Thomas is an old family, not just family, but an old personal friend of Sherwin's. So, that's hilarious. So, anyway, with that, let's start closing it down. We have a Stranger Stang. Ashley J. Stang sends in this week. A newsreel reported a group of kids letting people throw raw eggs at them during a charity event. So you get pelted with eggs during this charity event. Maybe it's like $1 per egg or something. You know, you get to throw it. That's kind of cool. She says, "What's the most
hurt?"
So that was where I was going to go with this. She said, "What's the most disgusting thing you'd let people throw at you in the name of charity?" Chloe, what do you think?
Stopping way short of shit.
So here's the crazy thing. Like eggs, I was thinking of that. Like eggs can be like paintballs, right? Like you get hit by one, and you're like, all right, yeah, I'm out, guys. And have you ever been walking off a paintball field with your arms up, like, hey, I'm done, and then 15 people all like just decide to troll you and hit you, and that totally sucks.
I've done that to somebody else.
I did too, and then I had it happen to me, and I stopped doing that.
Right, it's not good.
Or I probably paid it forward and like hit him more the next time, just being an a-hole. But so eggs could be like that. Like if I just like threw an egg at you hard, that like you'd be like but if I threw 50 of them like that, you'd probably be pretty upset at some point.
To get pissed off.
Yeah, that could be a trigger for me. So the grossest thing in the name of charity, though, it would have to be something that doesn't make me blow a motor.
There's one if I'm getting hit in the face.
God.
Yeah,
I mean, I joked with it. I could probably like laugh at somebody with gloves on throwing horse shit at me.
But that's
really not that big a deal.
But I might blow a motor.
Right, but you may blow a motor. As long as you don't get hit in the mouth. Like, are we wearing a face shield in this thing or what?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, if it's dried out, then who cares, you know?
Well, if it's just if the horse hadn't had any issues, it's really not that big a deal.
It's not a whole
I'll
deal.
be honest with you. It's really not that big a deal.
Oh my God.
Chloe, where are you at? Because we went all the way to horse poop.
I don't think I'd go that far. I mean, if the charity, if they were getting a lot of money, I suppose I would. But I'd say, like, I don't know, just weird foods. Is that a good answer?
So, like, some sushi thrown at you or something?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like sushi isn't that bad. Maybe I should say, like, rotten foods.
Rotten foods.
Kimchi.
Oh, yeah, that's intentionally
Or
rotten, too.
watermelon will curdle your
Oh,
blood.
yeah, that's, see, now we're getting right back into blowing motor territory.
Yeah,
too far. So you got to be careful there. Yeah, I mean, and it depends on charity, too. Are we talking about $5 to go to, like, the local
Are we fixing to
fire
heal
station?
somebody's cancer, or is this just like, we're going to put some signs up after this?
Yeah, or like some sunscreen for
Like, I mean, there's
ginger
there's
kids.
a gradient of what you're willing to tolerate.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'll blow a motor for, like,
If
a
I'm
real
saving-
significant.
yeah.
You
If
know,
I'm
like,
saving somebody's life
like
or
if
something.
the next
then-
thing I have to do is pay for Sherry Pollex's next chemotherapy if she has to go through one. And I'll go through some bad
horse poop.
stuff.
yeah,
Bad
exactly.
stuff. If
Exactly.
I'm gonna
If it
raise a
comes
bunch
down
of
to
money by going through worse stuff, like if they got a little bar and they're like, this is the price. If you do this, I'm like, all right, I'll consider that.
Yeah,
If I'm
yeah.
saving lives, I'll consider that.
Yeah. But if I'm just for somebody
If
to
we're planting flowers
some of
at
these-
the local whatever it is,
some of these Indiegogo campaigns where they're like, hey, I just need some money because I can't pay my electric bill. Hey, you're just gonna go without heat this month, brother.
yeah.
You know.
Well, like if we're talking, like, I mean, we're raising money. We're doing when it's not a charity thing, but it's like we would never ask anybody to do anything really gross.
No, just
For, like,
the
for
grossest
us
thing they have to do
donate
is
to our own Patreon.
listen-
Fund. Like, what would be the most ridiculous thing we would ask a fan to do to donate a particular amount of money to our Patreon fund?
Ooh, wait. What if it was, like, a fan for charity and it was a driver they didn't like?
a driver they didn't like, and they get to throw
Yeah.
something at the driver.
They get to throw something at the driver.
Okay.
Well, that will significantly change the level
That
of
gives me
heat.
plenty of ideas.
She's got ideas. They're rolling in her head. I
don't think
know.
hand grenades are going to be in the cards.
Whoa,
turns
okay. Whoa.
I don't know if I'm a driver, if I'm going to give somebody who's not a fan the satisfaction of throwing something at me versus somebody who is a fan to, like, I'll sign your stuff or something for charity for $5.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I don't give them the satisfaction of hating.
Well,
That said-
Fun, though.
activation of hatred in that case.
Now, that
Like,
said-
don't-
I would pay probably 3 digits to throw poop at Denny Hamlin.
so even if I had to use my bare hand,
I thought you were going to say my own poop. Oh, we've really hit the ditch now, y'all. It's time.
I feel like every podcast I watch, at some point it just goes into that.
Oh, that's what we have
I'm
to do
pretty
here.
sure we just broke a sway bar.
That's what we have to do on the PTM
I've finally
podcast.
been initiated
we have
to
to
the right
we have
time.
to drive it into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ditch and then break something before we,
Before we close this thing
we
out.
quit.
So with that, let's close out Sherwin. I've got a bunch of shout-outs today. Janet Barrett at JBSmoke14 sent me this awesome Jordan Anderson bracelet. She said, hey, send me a picture with you in Jordan Anderson gear. So I sent her the shirt, that Jordan Anderson gray shirt
Oh, yeah.
that we both have with Trevor Bain. And I was
Nice.
like, how about, like, extra Trevor Bain? So
I
she
think
sent
I
me
just
the...
splashed him with a lot of volume.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, it's awesome. So she sent me this cool. Now here's the thing. I got to wear it only in like good company because it is red and black, and that's like a
Ooh,
cuss
it
word
is
around here.
red and
I know. So we got to be careful. But this is I'm going to show it to everybody. No, Jordan Anderson. It says Jordan
What
Anderson on it.
Is it just say Jordan Anderson?
Jordan Anderson Racing, 3 NASCAR champion world trucks. Not NASCAR camping world trucks, not champion.
I think you can get away with wearing that.
Yeah.
just
I
put
gotta
the black on top.
just do the black on top like that, and then
I'll support it because I
show
support
the cool
Jordan
people.
Anderson.
Yeah. So, second shout out, MOATF podcast. We mentioned them earlier. The folks across the pond. David's amazing Southern accent after the Boyer win. I was laughing so hard I almost pulled a hammy. I was running at the time.
That's funny.
And
I love those guys.
I had to stop. So you've been on their show,
Uh-huh.
Khloe. So did you have a blast doing that?
Oh yeah, entirely.
They're great.
It was so great. I loved it so much.
Sherwin, you did a 4-way podcast chat earlier this week. Tell us what that was.
Yeah, so Cliff from Right Sides Only Radio was kind of like texting at me or
testing the
tweeting
waters
at
a little
me
bit.
or
What's
whatever,
going on?
Like just kind of, hey, what do you think about this? And I actually missed the thing that was like the most important, which was, hey, what if we did a live call-in where everybody can call in? I'm like, well, that would be super awesome. And then like I didn't pay attention to it for 20 minutes. And then like he did it. He's like, well, give me a second to figure out how to do it. And then he did it. And so I called in, and so the people that were already called in were Tam, which is Sincerely Tam from All Turns No Breaks, Kenny from the Provisional Podcast, and Brandon from Lap Traffic. They were already there. I was the late comer.
It's like a 5-way
crowd.
thing because PETM was there,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
RSOR.
so we had 5
so that's
different
awesome.
groups represented,
Fantastic.
which is pretty neat.
So shout
And
out
we
to all
talked
those
for
guys.
like an hour and a half, which was way more than I think that anybody thought we would talk for.
Well, you get people who talk for a hobby.
Well,
And
Tam said that multiple times. It was perfect. She was like, we're all talkers. This
Right.
is what we do for our hobby. So we have to be careful what questions we ask.
Right.
And it was awesome. So y'all go check all them out.
Yep. With that, Khloe, tell us, close us out. Tell us where people can find you, what's coming up, and what's going on.
All right. Okay. I mean, you can find me on Twitter at Khloe Yunker with a K, on Instagram, Khloe Yunker17, and Snapchat, Khloe Yunker.
There it is, y'all. With that, we're going to close our thing out. Sherwin.
what about your YouTube, Chloe? You got a lot of things.
Subscribe to her on YouTube, Khloe Yunker.
Khloe Yunker on YouTube. So here's the deal, y'all. Y'all know where to find us. PTMpodcast.com, at PTM Podcast, PTM Podcast everywhere. Just do the old Google search, and you know where to find us.
Seriously, just Google.
Next week, we've got Jensen Jorgensen driving the PTM number 32 car in the Legends Series. That he's going to be on next week. This is the PTM Posse car. Y'all don't want to miss that. It's going to be a blast.
This is your car.
This is your car.
This is your car.
Yep.
Y'all did this, and we are happy to facilitate it.
Yep.
And so we are super excited to have Jorgen on.
Jensen.
Jorgen.
Jensen.
Jensen. On. Good grief. We're super
man.
excited to have Jensen on. We can't wait. And we can't wait for the season. It's going to start before you know it. Probably like 6 weeks or something. It's going to be activated.
Something like that. Yep.
So you'll be seeing all kinds of racing stuff. Atlanta Motor Speedway has extended us media credentials for the entire season. We hope we get to spend as many weeks down there as we can.
Absolutely.
Covering, the Legends Series.
Yep. Sherwin, as always, I'm Tailgate Mayor, Rusty Wallace, at Tailgate Mayor.
And I'm Andrew Sherwin, at Pregame Engineer.
And we are going to close this thing out. Thank you, Khloe, for being on. And we'll talk to y'all next
problem.
week.
Stay with us, Chloe.
There we go. Woo!
Boom.
I hope you had fun, Khloe. We're still live on
my
YouTube,
gosh,
but wanted
that was
to.
Great.
Yeah, that's. Like you said, if you listen to any show of ours, we're going to start out and sound like we're serious, like we know what's going on, like we have any clue what the deal is with this whole thing, and then we're going to park it right in the ditch.
Man, that was so fun.
Well, thank you for coming on.
That's one of the ways we've tried to sort of separate what we're doing from what other folks are doing. Is we really figured out over the, I don't know, it took us probably 40 episodes to figure out. We really just prefer to goof off.
Oh yeah, it's so much more fun that way too.
And we got to.
I mean, we got good minds. Like, these are smart people here in this room, and then we watch the races, but it's way more fun to approach it from a goofing off perspective.
Oh, man, Brandon Carl says he might have to take a trip to Atlanta this summer to see that 32 car in person. Absolutely,
Well,
Brandon.
Yeah.
And I think we have some level of access that we should be able to get you to, like, all the way in the garage and up in the press booth. And I mean, I'm not counting chickens or anything, but it sounds like we've got some pretty good.
There's
stuff
some chickens out there.
There's chickens. There's
chickens out there.
You might not be able to count them, but they've already hatched. So if anybody wants to come down, shoot, we'll find a way. We'll in the end we'll pull a sponsor card. If we have to, we'll pull a sponsor card.
Figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But it and our relationship with Landon Motor Speedway is completely separate from our relationship with Jensen Jorgensen and Jorgensen Racing.
Well, there's some
there's a Venn
diagram overlap stuff,
but we're not
and all
getting that opportunity because we sponsored a car. We're getting it because Atlanta Motor Speedway is very happy about the way we have promoted the track and participated and et cetera.
So with that,
we've earned our keep, I think, is what that amounts to.
I'm gonna close down the YouTube stream so that we can get doing our thing.
Down.
Thank y'all so much.
Somebody thought I was gonna take first. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disappoint
wait.
you.
What were you gonna take? Hey, Chloe, I totally thought you were gonna take first in the Lap Traffic Fantasy League this week.
Oh, who's TJ?
I'm trying so hard.
Oh,
I'm trying so hard.
Well, you got to cheat your way to the top.
Wow.
I can't help it. I can't help it.
Where's Brandon at?
I know it. I know it. Right. All right. Well, thank you, YouTubers, for being here. Thank you, everybody. This is awesome. Looking forward to next week. See y'all.
Whoop, whoop.